Hey guys, I have so much energy right now. So it's like, let's make a YouTube video to get your energy out. And by the way, go check out the YouTube channel, The Gamer, because we just posted these 2 Minecraft animated stories. And yeah, let's read this. Based on true events, it has been all tired to make it more interesting and fun to watch. That sounds cool.
The moment I woke up, the pain hit me like a ton of bricks. For a moment, I didn't know where
This girl
I was
needs to
or
speak
who I
up.
was.
Man, this girl is she's so low. Like, speak up.
There was just the terrible, throbbing agony in the back of my head. There was also an unbearable stench of bleach. Suddenly, a little voice whispered in my ear, "Good morning, Mama." My eyes flew open and I...
She's a mom? That's so creepy. Good morning, Mama. She's not a mom.
There was a pretty little girl with blue eyes and blonde hair looking expectantly at me. She must have seen the confusion on my face. "It's me, Mama," she cried happily. "It's Hannah." I was shocked and I sat up,
Hannah?
fighting the blinding headache. But something was holding my leg down and I heard the clink.
How old is she? Like, how old are you and how old is she? You're a mom? You didn't tell me that.
Of steel on steel. When I looked over, I saw a cuff around my foot, chaining me up to the bed frame.
What
I looked around the room. I didn't even know where I
Hannah!
was. When my hair swung in front of my face, I gasped. My brown hair was blonde now. I panicked, turned again to the stranger who was calling me her mother. But now I realized she wasn't a stranger. I recognized her little face. She was my boyfriend's daughter. Whoa, that's intense. Do you think I'm just having a nightmare? Before I continue, please click the like and subscribe.
Boyfriend's daughter. How's that mom? Let me think. Boyfriend. Okay, you date someone. Oh wait, are you married or dating? Oh, did you 2 make kids? Now I'm kind of getting the civics, but speak up, girl. I don't understand.
Subscribe buttons below. Hi, my name is Helen. This is the story
You're now
of the
just
craziest
saying that.
and creepiest month of my life.
Okay.
If you ever buy anything
God,
from
I don't
Apple,
wanna
you
see
should
it
use
copyrighted.
WikiBuy. It's a browser extension that...
Going on? I asked in a panic. Where's
Yeah.
Hank? Dad's just fixing something, Hannah replied happily. Then she waved her small hand to point at something on the wall behind me.
Okay, how come suddenly you wake up, your boyfriend is not there, and your kid, and you forget that your little kid is your daughter? How can you forget that your little daughter, you just wake up from a nap like, oh yeah, that was a good nap. And then you're like, here's this. And I'm like, no, I'm your daughter. You love me, and I'm perfect. Okay, let's just continue with this animated story.
Mama, she added, and I gasped. All over the wall were pictures that Hank took of me while we were dating. Hannah had drawn blonde hair cutouts and pasted them on my head to hide my brown hair. To
Why?
my surprise, there were pictures of Hannah, too, and they were pasted on top of mine. There were notes everywhere saying, my mom and me. In the middle of it all, there was a big picture of me and...
Dude, she's just gonna look worse if you do that. Why'd you do that, Hannah? Hannah, I thought I was gonna like you,
Hank,
man.
who looked big and muscular. He had a goofy smile on his face. There was something scribbled on top. It read, I love my family. I was
That's
getting
not a scribble.
goosebumps on my arm. Nothing was
Dude.
making sense. What kind of sick joke was this? I was fighting the rising panic in my chest. I thought of my 2-year-old son Marcus, who I had left with my mother last.
Okay, Hannah, you're crazy. So suddenly, your mom wakes up, and you want to make her hand blown like yours. Like you're like, while she's sleeping, let's dye her hair. Girl, dude, that's so far. Just, man, God.
Last night, I had to get out of here. I had to get home, but I was chained to the bed like a trapped animal. Do you know how to get this thing off? I asked her, pointing to the cuff around my foot. And who bleached my hair? But Hannah's attention was elsewhere.
She's not
She
gonna
grabbed
tell
her
you.
toys and laid them between us on the bed. let's play, she told me
Let's
excitedly.
play.
I tried to clear my head despite my headache while Hannah played. I pressed my hands on my eyes and tried to remember how I got to this position. I remember meeting Hannah for the first time last night at dinner. We had a wonderful time.
So you just met her last night? And she only means that much important to you? You just forget her? You met her for a whole night.
I could see Hank's proud face in my mind, beaming proudly, when I said that his daughter seemed like a gifted 7-year-old. Hannah even kissed me on the cheek before
How
she
old
went
is
to
she
bed.
really?
Last
How
night
old
you
is
asked
she?
permission if you could
Oh, God. How
still
old is
watch
she?
TV and write in your diary before going to bed, I said out loud to Hannah. She smiled sweetly at me. Yes, I have to write in my diary every day. I walked from the kitchen to the living room. Your father was laughing, then I heard a thud, I added, trying to make sense of it all. Then something hit me really hard on the head. I tried to remember more, but I was drawing a big blank.
What happened? Oh my God, dude, what happened?
Hannah suddenly laughed. Did you have a bad dream, Mama? She asked innocently. I felt
She laughs so weird and scary. Did you have a bad dream, Mama?
felt like I was still dreaming, but the cold touch of steel around my foot, I knew I wasn't asleep anymore.
She's
This was
creepy.
all real. Hannah,
Your daughter's
I asked
creepy.
as calmly as I could, where is your father? Can you go and get him? But Hannah just shook her head. I don't think that Daddy is going to spend time with us today, she answered
What the heck? What's wrong with you, Hannah Banana?
with a touch of annoyance. Please play with me. She looked at me with her piercing big blue eyes. I realized that until Hank arrived, I wouldn't get any answers. Meanwhile, Hannah was playing with the makeup she found in my bag. Do you think I'm pretty, Mom?
No! Ew, look at you.
Asked Hannah. My heart went out to her. The poor little thing, she had no idea that her father was
Poor little thing, girl.
crazy. I wondered about the night before.
Wait, father's crazy? Girl, give me some detail.
Something or someone hit me really hard.
If you shop on Amazon, you should use Wikibuy. It's a browser extension
Nah, I
that
don't think we
automatically
should.
compares Amazon's prices to other sellers
What?
to see if there's a better.
Hard on the head. I heard a thud coming from the kitchen right before something hit me. If Hank was in the kitchen, how did he get to the living room so fast? After a while,
Was it Frank?
Hannah complained
Was
that
it-
she was hungry. She asked if I could make her some food. Daddy showed me how to remove it from the bed, she explained while pointing at the cuff. She wiggled under the bed, twisting the chain. A few moments later, she showed me that the chain wasn't attached to the bed anymore. Now it was connected to a big metal ball.
Why would you do that, Hannah?
Anger flared up inside me again. What kind of sick father would teach his daughter to work a ball and chain?
Yeah.
But aside from anger, I was starting to get scared. What else was Hank capable of doing to me? Somehow I managed to drag that ball out to the kitchen so I could make Hannah a snack. Then I asked her for help again if she knew how to remove the ball completely. I explained that I had to go home. My son was waiting for me. Please don't leave me, Hannah begged, and she began to cry. Don't leave me alone here. I'm scared.
Don't trust this little freak.
But I was more worried about myself than Hannah at that point. I dragged the ball to the front door and realized that it was locked from the outside. I tried the windows. They were locked too. Feeling furious and frustrated, I even tried to break the glass, but it wouldn't break. My cell phone was gone and I didn't see a phone anywhere. I started to pound on the glass and I was screaming to the people I could see outside, but nobody turned to look my way. I came to a realization that chilled me to the bone. There was
What?
no way out and no one to call for help. That's when I started to cry. Hannah ran to me and hugged me.
You little freak. You're the one who did this to her. We know you. We can see you. We can see your eyes. You're not fools, Hannah.
Tight. I didn't see Hank at all that day, but there was a constant thumping sound coming from the attic. The next morning, I finally saw Hank. He and Hannah came into the room carrying a tray for breakfast. Can I
Okay.
share your breakfast, Mom? Hannah
What?
said while jumping into the bed. I looked angrily at Hank and I demanded that he release me, but he never said a word. I grabbed his
Why would Hank suddenly just do this?
hand.
Doesn't make any sense.
What kind of sick joke is this? I cried out. I started to shout, but Hannah covered her ears.
Why isn't Hannah doing anything about this? If she was a true daughter, she'd do something.
Please don't fight, she said, and she started to
Now I'm suddenly feeling bad for Hannah. What's wrong with me? I was the one making fun of her and roasting her, but I feel bad for her. She's going through parents fighting. I go through that all the time. That's why they broke up. Like, oh my God. I don't see animated stories cute. animated people cute, but whatever.
Cry. Hank looked me straight in the eyes. I was shocked with what I saw. His eyes looked dull and full of sadness. This is for the
Why'd
best.
you do this, dude? You think she's gonna leave you? She's gonna leave you once you free her.
He said before leaving. This is for the best, Hannah. I spent the next few days chained to that bed. Hannah was my constant companion. My heart was bleeding for
so
this
Hannah
poor
is
little
nice.
girl. She seemed so starved for a mother's love and affection. Everything she made, she showed to me with such hope and excitement on her face. She talked constantly about the new things she learned, like the animals in Australia. I hated Hank for keeping me locked up like this, but now I was afraid of him too. He was a totally different person from the man I thought I was
But how did your hair turn yellow? Like, nothing explains that.
falling in love with. He was sullen and withdrawn. He never even looked me in the eyes anymore. The days went on. I had to fight the urge to cry and panic when I thought about Marcus. I needed to find a way to escape so I could get to my son. So I formulated a plan. I knew I wasn't strong enough to go against Hank physically. I hoped that the only
But what
reason
about Hannah, girl? Poor Hannah.
why I was still chained up was because Hank was afraid that I would run.
The only reason why I was roasting Hannah was because I thought she was all in on this. Like, she handcuffed her. She's just trying to help, but she didn't know.
That
Earn miles today for adventures tomorrow with the City Advantage Platinum Select Card. Earn Advantage miles on every purchase and 2 times the miles.
I wasn't planning on going anywhere, so I gave in to Hannah's hugs and cuddles while waiting for my chance. I made her laugh. I played with her. I made her little treats in the kitchen. I worked on the perfect mother persona for weeks. I even scolded her a bit for watching those reality TV shows that were way too mature for her. Finally, my plan was working. Hannah started to complain that I couldn't properly play with her if I was always dragging that ball around. She begged her dad to remove it, and he did. A few more days passed.
He just did? Dude,
Holding and hugging Hannah
I was not expecting that. I expected this to be like plots and twists. Like, not sweet and kiss.
almost became second nature by now. She was an easy child to love, and I pitied her more than I could say. She couldn't leave the house. She didn't even go to school anymore. One night, she came to my room to tell me about her reality show. She said the
Hannah's so sweet.
people in her show went to a restaurant
She doesn't
near
know
their
what to
house.
do. She's so
Please, can we
okay.
go? She begged Hank.
She can't.
Hank gave her a questioning look and pointed to me. Please, Daddy, she said again. Mom loves me now. I brushed the top of her head lightly, a gesture of affection. Hank finally gave in. Remember to behave,
So he always gives in? Girl, I want twists.
Helen, he told me by the front door. No funny business. I nodded, and it was the first time I saw the outside world in ages.
You really think after you've handcuffed your girlfriend for like a long time, she's gonna like not do anything dumb? Of course she's gonna do something for revenge.
We got into the car and drove to the restaurant. Hannah was practically jumping in her seat in her excitement. She kept cuddling next to me, saying that she had the best family in the world. When it was time to pay the
Not really. They fight all the time, Hannah. But I guess you're trying to look for the bright side.
check, I stood up and excused myself. I have to use the ladies' room, I replied. And to stop the suspicion forming in Hank's eyes, I asked Hannah to come along. The little girl grabbed my hand and went. I led Hannah to a stall, and I went to the one next to it. As much as I wanted to take care of Hannah, I needed to leave her father. I needed to escape. So before I left the
Don't blame you. Her father's crazy.
bathroom stall, I quickly got my lipstick and smeared a message on the door. It was my only chance to get some help. I didn't have an address or a phone number, but I knew the
Then
plate number of
kidnap.
Hank's car. When we were walking back
Dude, you can just call the police.
to the car, we heard shouting coming from the restaurant. My deliverance came in the form of waiters and waitresses running to my rescue. Somebody had seen my note. I was saved. The police arrived soon after. They
What's the odds that a policeman is gonna be like, going to go to the restroom, going to go to the restroom, going to go to the restroom. Oh yeah, ladies' restroom. Because I'm a lady. I want to go to the ladies' restroom. A note! What's the odds that especially guy policeman is gonna be like, a guy policeman is gonna be like, I want to go to the ladies' restroom because they have candy there.
handcuffed Hank in front of me. I finally got my vengeance. Now it was going to be his turn to feel how terrible it is to be locked up. Hannah was crying the whole time. I took her
Why
in
are
my
you crying, Hannah? You're a good girl, but your dad is not.
arms. Please don't let them take my daddy away, she cried to me. I
I
tried
feel bad for Hannah.
to comfort her as much as I could. The poor little girl was being traumatized again. But the cops also took Hannah away. She was being sent to a social worker. As much as it hurt
Oh my god, I thought they were gonna take her to jail.
to let her go, my arms were craving to hold my son again. I finally went home, and my life gradually
You're
went
just
back
letting her go? You're a bad person. Hannah's the good one. Now she's gone out of your life. You just don't even deserve her. You're such a bad
to
person.
normal, despite meeting with the police all the time. I told them about the night I fell unconscious. They assumed that Hank must have run to the living room the moment that his daughter left. They said that it was an open and shut case about a man who was obsessed with finding a mother for his child. I tried to stop thinking about it. Besides, I wanted to make up for all the time I'd lost with Marcus. I hugged him as tightly as I
Is Marcus as better than Hannah? No.
could, feeling that I would never let
Look, I'm not trying to pick between kids here, but Hannah was the best.
anything bad ever happen to my son. I would do anything for him. But something kept bugging me about the whole ordeal. As much as I hated and feared Hank, I couldn't shake off the feeling that there was still some stone left unturned. I also felt guilty about Hannah, so I went to visit her, just
Now you're just realizing that?
to see her one last time. She sobbed when she saw me and she held out her little arms. "Did you come to take me home, Mom?" she asked with so much hope and heartbreak. "I'm sorry, baby," I whispered to her. "I can't be your..."
Grammarly helps make your writing clear and concise, no matter where you are. With Grammarly on your computer and phone,
Your real mother. I felt so sad.
Why not? Why can't you take care of her, dude?
There was no way I could get Hannah. I felt so guilty about leaving her. She was just a little girl. But the moment I said that, her face changed. Gone was the angelic face I had known. She snarled like an animal. "I thought you were different," she said with a sudden raspy voice. "But you're not any better than them." Poor Hannah thought I
What?
was abandoning her. In her
I
anger,
thought Hannah was a good
grabbed the
girl.
only thing next to her, which was her diary. She flung it at me and it fell on the floor. I bent down to pick it up. Meanwhile, Hannah was flinging curses at me, awful words that no 7-year-old should or could know. I thought it was because of all the reality shows that she watched, but then I saw the drawings. I flipped through the pages of that diary. There were drawings of different girls, all with blonde hair and blue eyes. There were notes on each page.
What's wrong with
Stating
Hannah?
their names along with the good and bad things about them. There were dates, too. The first entry was dated 10 years ago. "What is this?" I gasped. By now, I had noticed my own face, perfectly drawn near the last page of the diary. "Give that back," Hannah growled. I was trembling from head to toe, but I didn't give it back to her. I knew I was holding the most important piece of evidence in my own kidnapping case. Things were starting to make sense now. Hank wasn't acting alone. "What did you use to hit me on the head?" I asked in horror.
She did it? I knew it from the very beginning. But then at the middle, I said she's a sweet girl. I don't know why.
"I threw a boomerang at you," she replied, right after I shot a dart at my dad because he said he was tired of playing my game. When he finally woke up, he begged me not to hurt you. But he loves me, and he always does what I say. He's been doing it for years. Years, I repeated. How could that be? Hannah was only 7. How old are you, Hannah? I asked as calmly as
She's
I
not
could,
actually
but My
7.
heart was beating painfully in my chest. "You're smarter than I thought," she spat back at me. "I may look like a young girl, but I'm really 18 years old. Not much
Jeez.
younger than you." "How?" I whispered back. "I stopped aging a long time ago. I'm trapped in this child's body, but I can't do anything without somebody who actually looks like an adult."
Does your
And I just want
dad know that you're 18? Gee.
a normal life with a normal family. You can feel sorry for me all you want, but I'll find a way to get a real family
I'm not sorry for you.
someday. It doesn't have to be you. It doesn't have to be any one of you. Hannah's demeanor was scaring me more than being locked up in a house. "What do you mean, any one of you? Who are these women?" I asked again, pointing to the pictures in her diary. Then Hannah's face changed some more. She looked feral, evil, and nothing like a child. "Those are my other mothers," she said with a little smug smile. "Do you think you are the first? The mothers that failed to meet my expectations are all buried in the basement."
Oh, wow.
Are you tired of paying full price for makeup, kids' toys, shoes, kitchenware,
No, I'm not tired of that because it never happens to me. Okay. That was the end of the video. And there was not a happy ending in this, which makes me kind of sad, but yeah, it's just a made-up story. So anyways, okay. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that like button, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye!